All right, y'all. What's up? What's up? What's up? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever it is when you watch this video, just make it apply. I hope everybody is in good energy. Remember that, divination is confirmation. I should only be telling you things that your spiritual team should have already revealed to you. If I'm telling you anything new, then by all means, don't listen to me. So let's get into this reading. Let's get into this message. The first thing I wanted to talk about is, mental health and spirituality. Y'all, look, just because we are spiritual, just because we are rooted and anchored, in our religion, on our spiritual path, it doesn't mean that mental health can't happen. One of the most dangerous things is someone going through a mental life crisis and you put it under spirituality, you put it under religion, you know because now, not understanding the difference between the two, you could be doing some crazy shit. Within that, mental health, whether is, schizophrenia, bipolar, depression, sadness, anxiety, regardless of what it is, it could be speaking to you, and now you are thinking that it's spirit. And that is, extremely dangerous. You can end up doing some damaging stuff to yourself as well as others. So we have to, understand that, separate the two. Mental health is mental health, spirituality is spirituality. Keep thinking that, and you see this bad in the church. Keep thinking that, Jesus is going to save it, is going to have people crazy when they're off their medication. So let's make sure that we understand mental health and that we are supporting mental health. That has been the demise of the black community, is keep thinking that white colonizer Jesus is going to save everything. Instead of going to marriage counseling and working on our relationship, we just put it on white colonizer Jesus and say that he's going to fix and save everything. Instead of dealing with our childhood traumas and issues, we just put it in the blood of white colonizer Jesus, and things are just supposed to magically work itself out. You know, Instead of, dealing with our finances and learning, time management and money management, we end up spending all of our money, and then we just put it on white colonizer Jesus and expect that everything is just supposed to be better. Money is just supposed to be, falling from the sky. No accountability, no responsibility. If, anybody, correct us on anything, we'll put it on the devil, which is the greatest scapegoat. All we got to do is, the devil made me do it. The devil is doing this. The devil is attacking me, and we don't take accountability and responsibility. We have to understand that we are more than just a spirit. Spiritual, when it comes to spirit, it's about spiritual things, but you still have a soul, you still have flesh. And so we have to understand that sometimes we do need more than just our spiritual, rituals and ceremonies and things like that. A spiritual ritual and ceremony is not going to help you with your schizophrenia or your bipolar or your depression. More than anything, sometimes it can make it worse. It can make it worse with you already being in a compromising mental state and then trying to tap into the spiritual realm. You can definitely get some spirits, attaching to that energy and have you doing some crazy stuff. And so we want to make sure that we are just, protecting ourselves when it comes to mental health. I am a big advocate, for mental health. I've told you guys, plenty of times on this platform that, when I was going through my divorce, this was the hardest breakup that I've ever experienced. No other breakup was able to really get me in my emotions, making me cry, making me not want to go to work, putting me in depression where, I didn't want to get up. It was a lot of stuff that went through this breakup. And, I knew and I realized that it was something off and something was different about this particular breakup. And it could be the fact that, at the end of the day, hey, I was married. And so, that is the difference between all of the other relationships. But I knew that, for the sake of myself as well, for the sake of my kid, because, I have a 14-year-old that is looking up to me, that is looking at everything that I do, that is learning how to process things based on how I process things and how I react to things. And so I knew for myself that, I had to do something. And, I went to the VA because I'm a veteran. I went to the veteran hospital, and, I went to, mental health. And, I told them, like, hey, this is what's going on. These are all my stressors. I need something. And, I was able to get, put on an antidepressant, put on a mood stabilizer. I was able to get a therapist, a counselor that I was sitting down with and, discussing problems with. And so, I am a big advocate when it comes to mental health. And we have to understand that, when you are dealing with something spiritual, then yes, you go to your priest, you go to your, shamans, you go to your, spiritual advisors and things like that, because they will be able to help you on the spiritual level. But when you are going through something mental, you need to connect with your counselors, your therapists, your psychiatrists. You're gonna need that. You're gonna need that element versus the spiritual. And I love spirituality. I'm all about spirituality, but we have to understand that we are more than just a spirit. And sometimes some of the things that we go through, it is not even on a spirit level. Some of the things that we go through in sometimes in relationships, it's like it's not on the spirit level. This is not somebody doing witchcraft on you. This is you learning how to communicate with your partner. This is you letting go, you needing to let go of the trauma so that it can stop affecting your relationship. This is you needing to deal with the abandonment issues and the neglect issues so that you can better operate within your relationships. And so everything that we go through is not on the spirit level. Everything is not a demon attacking you. Everything is not the devil coming after you. Everything is not spiritual warfare. Some things are practical, and we got to learn how to understand the two. What is spiritual and what is practical that can be solved in practical ways. And so we kind of need to understand that, because, sometimes, our mindset can give us the effect of witchcraft. That, witchcraft can flip our life upside down, but so can a badass attitude. So is a fucked up personality. And so both of them is going to give the same results. And you got to have discernment to see which one is at play. Is it something spiritual, or is it something, practical? Is it something in the physical that I can actually change? So let's kind of keep this stuff in mind. Um, and when it comes to the game of love, man, it is, I always tell people, when it comes to the game of love, it is something else. Love is something completely different versus, every other thing. And so, let's make sure that we're doing the right thing. I'm always telling you something that I seen on TikTok. Um, and I don't know why my algorithm is showing me this shit. It's like, are you telling me something? I was going through my TikTok, and I'm seeing all these relationships where people are getting scammed. I honestly don't know how people can get scammed, but I don't know. I really don't. I don't understand it, because honestly, the only way you can understand it is if you're going through it, if you're in that energy, and if you're not in that energy, sometimes you can't comprehend, you can't understand. So you really can't, sympathize sometimes on what it is that they're going through, because I'm just like, how? There's just some common rules, that I have. In the beginning of a relationship, especially if you haven't seen anybody face to face, you should not be giving out any type of money regardless. You should not be sending anybody money. I don't care how sad the story is that I don't have the money to come see you. I need money in order to pay my bills. My car messed up. The first thing that I'm going to say is, oh, you're not in a position to date. Just hit me up when you fix all those things. You know what I'm saying? If somebody is telling you that they don't have the money to travel to you because they're in a different state or because they're in a different country, common sense will say, well, we might as well going to end it here and we can just be friends, because you got to think about it. If they're not going to have the money the first time, even if they're not a scam, if they're not going to have the money the first time to come and see you, what makes you think they're going to have the money the second time and the third time and the fourth time? In the beginning, you have to understand this is not a partner that you have been with for the last, 20 years or 15 years. This is not anybody that you have established anything with. This is a complete stranger, especially if you haven't even met the person face to face. You don't even know what they're presenting online is actually real. And so we want to make sure that, in the beginning of that relationship, you should not be coming out of pocket. Y'all, I'm so bad with it that even on the first date, on the first interaction, I'm not paying for shit. I do not pay for shit on the first date, because I don't even know if I'm gonna find some type of excuse to leave the restaurant because I'm not fucking with you and I'm not feeling your energy. And so I'm never planning on paying for anything on the first date, because I don't even know if I'm gonna sit there for the whole entire dinner. And so normally on that first interaction, I always try to make it where, let's go for a walk. You know what I'm saying? Let's go hiking because I'm in Arizona. Let's go out and just look at the scenery or something. Sometimes I might do a sit down restaurant and stuff like that, but you better believe, I be having my phone on deck. I will set some shit up where my phone ringing, an emergency happened at work, I gotta go. Cause I'm the HR director, so it's easy for me. You know what, this just happened at the store, I got a jet and I gotta go. That means I'm not feeling you, and I be ready. So, just please, don't fall for this scam. Whenever someone is asking for money in the beginning and you have never met this person, you have never seen them face to face, you're only interacting with them online, then do not give them money. You should not be the next person on TikTok where someone is telling your story that you end up paying somebody $100,000. That you end up paying somebody $500,000 over the span of 5 years, of 10 years. And it's like, at what point do we stop? You know what I'm saying? If you haven't met this person within a year and you sending them all this money, at what point do we stop? And that is why I'm telling you, we have to learn how to stop manifesting in a state of desperation. We gotta learn how to stop being in that energy. We don't need to be desperate. Go out and get what you need. Some of us, we get into this state because, and some people can do it. Some people can be celibate for the rest of their life and they are good going without sex. Some people can do it with no problem. Other people can't do that. Some people can't do that. Some people, that is hard as hell for them. And so it's like, how do you, get what it is that you need and you're not looking for a relationship? Or how is it that you get what it is that you need, but, you want to focus on something else? Get a friends with benefits. Meet somebody, be honest, put it out there of what it is that you're looking for, letting them know that the only thing that you're looking for is a friends with benefits, and get that consistency through that. And so that may help minimize some things to remove the anxiety and removing the stress. That when now it's time for us to manifest and to bring in the love and everything that we want, then we're bringing in things in a centered, balanced way. The way that I roll whenever I'm single, I always try to get a consistent friends with benefits, because I'm the type of person, I'm sorry, whether you think it's spiritual or not, I'm not going the rest of my life without sex. Once you open Pandora box and you know what that pleasure and everything feel like, then that's it. And so when it comes to me, I like I like to have the consistent friends with benefits. And the thing is, it's not lying to anyone. It's telling them up front what it is that you're looking for. This is the only thing I'm looking for. I only want to meet up, maybe once a week, maybe once a month. I can, meet you at your place, blah, blah, blah. You write down, or not technically write down, you speak and agree to the things that you want, that both parties are in agreement. And now both of you know what it is that you're looking for. And so, and from that, I personally love dating, having a friends with benefits, because now since I got a consistent friends with benefits, when I'm dating, I don't have to rush into having sex. I don't have to do it now because I already got that with my with my friends with benefits. I don't have to rush into feeling desperate, lonely, or anything like that. I'm good on that. I already got everything that I need. And so now all I'm looking for is something that's going to, enhance my life, not something that's really gonna, supply a lack. I already got everything I need. I don't need to supply a lack. And so, we got to learn how to do things that are very practical to us. If you can go years without having sex, by all means, then, congratulations, do that. But if you cannot do it for whatever reason, then it is best for you to come up with something practical that you are able to get what you need while at the same time not bringing harm or lies or things to anybody else. And then of course, whenever you actually, get with someone, then, you end that contract with the friends with benefits. There's no need of holding on to a friends with benefits whenever there is, a relationship now that is forming. Now, keep in mind, because some of you are very delusional when it comes to the game of love, and this is one of the reasons why you stay single and you stay hurting yourself. When you meet somebody, I will never understand when people are meeting a stranger. It's somebody that they don't know, and you are requiring them to only talk to you, only have sex with you, don't entertain anybody else. And it's like that thought process I never understood. In the beginning of a relationship, when you don't know this person and this person is a stranger to you, at the end of the day, you don't know if this person is even going to be the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, let alone just spending a month with them. And so, in the beginning of a relationship, or not, maybe that's what I need to stop saying. I need to stop saying in the beginning of a relationship, because a relationship implies commitment. In the beginning of getting to know somebody, we should not be coming with these strict requirements of, you can't have sex with anybody else, trying to, understand if the person have a friends with benefits and stuff like that. You got to learn how to let that stuff go. In the beginning, the only thing you're doing is getting to know that person to see if you're going to be compatible. That is the only thing. And like I told you before on a previous video, that if you are the type of person that you believe when you have sex with somebody, that automatically equals commitment, that you are now in a committed relationship, then baby, you don't need to be having sex with nobody. You need to make sure that pussy and that dick is wrapped up 24/7, because this is why relationships fall. When we force somebody into a committed relationship because you two had sex with one another, people will tell you what it is that you want to hear. They will tell you, okay, and they will go along with you while at the same time still doing what they was previously doing. Still seeking to see that if it's somebody out there that they're more compatible with, and the whole 9 yards. This is why we don't rush and pressure somebody into commitment. The way that this thing should go is that when two people are meeting up together, and if that chemistry and that vibe and stuff is naturally there, people are going to naturally let go of everything now that is not serving their highest good and that doesn't match this connection. And we gotta allow people to naturally get there. We gotta allow people to naturally see what it is that we bring to the table, our worth, and understanding that you two are compatible compared to anybody else. But we can't force them to see that. We can't force them and say, you gotta see my worth. You gotta see everything I bring to the table. You can't be with nobody else. You need to delete everybody now, and you can only be with me. That is only a setup. That is a setup for disaster. That is a setup for this person to be cheating on you and everything else because you came to that conclusion for that person and they did not come to that conclusion themselves. And then we wonder why, when things break up, we get into this mode where it's like, oh, you never loved me. Oh, you never cared for me. And in reality, that actually can be true because you never gave them the opportunity to see if they loved you. You never gave them the opportunity to see if they really rocked with you because you forced them into a commitment. You forced them into a commitment where that was you saying you like me and not them saying I like you. And so in the beginning, it should be a natural thing that when your chemistry and everything is vibing and it is connecting and it is aligning, people will naturally let go of their friends with benefits, all their little fucks. They will let go of all of those things and naturally cling to you more. You're going to start noticing that it's going to, 1 minute you guys are seeing each other, once a week. Now, all of a sudden, the more that they let go of all these things that's not serving their highest good, now you're seeing each other 3 times a week. Now you're seeing each other every single day, and you're always over each other's house, that it naturally gets to the point where it's better for somebody to move. It makes no sense for both of us to be paying rent or mortgage in 2 different places when you are always over here. I'm always over there. And so we gotta allow things to naturally get there, to naturally flow into that. You cannot rush love. And rushing love can trigger a lot of things. If that person is, let's just be honest. Most people do not get into relationships healed. Most people don't get into relationships healed. They just don't. That is idea, that is practical, that is what a lot of people teach. But at the end of the day, most people do not get in relationships healed. And so when we are in a position that we are rushing a connection, number one, we got to look at that as not being healed. Rushing a connection and trying to jump into something, and you want this person to be committed, faithful, loyal, and everything from day one, that is not you saying, well, I know my worth. That is not you saying, this and that, trying to make it seem like that is a good thing. That is an unhealthy trait. That is a very toxic trait. And that is a trait that is stemmed in trauma. And so it's like, what do you got going on? It's like, do you have abandonment issues? Do you have, neglect issues? That you are rushing this process instead of enjoying every moment and every stage and every journey and allowing it to naturally get to where it needs to go. Rushing a connection is extremely unhealthy. Now, if both parties is naturally getting there, then of course that's not unhealthy. That's not trauma. That is 2 people realizing how aligned they are to one another. But when there's one person rushing the other, that is a very unhealthy trait. And you got to look in the mirror and you have to ask yourself, why are we rushing this thing? Because that's now dependency. Why are we depending on somebody else for our happiness and our joy? Why is it that we're trying to control this person since day one? You gotta start looking in the mirror and asking yourself these questions to get down to the nitty gritty of this. And so we got to start seeing that as a very negative trait of trying to rush and control someone else when you are just starting to talk. You're just starting, I wouldn't even call that dating yet. You're just talking at this point to see if it's going to get to dating and then seeing if dating is going to lead to a relationship. The only time that we should be holding people accountable and responsible for not messing around with somebody else is once you get to the committed state. Once you become committed, yes, now you have to do what you agreed to do. And if you agree to monogamy, then you must be monogamous. You cannot you can't be fucking everything else and be in polygamy or polyamory. And so we just want to make sure that we're doing these practical things in love. Don't be giving nobody money in the beginning of a relationship. Don't be giving people sex in the beginning of talking. My bad, I meant to say the beginning of talking. Don't be giving nobody money in the beginning of talking to them, especially if you haven't seen the motherfucker. Do not be giving sex out to people if you're the type of person that you equate sex with being in a committed relationship. Then stop giving sex out. You can't get a friends with benefits. It's not in your energy. And so we need to learn these practical things so that our relationships can get better. Listen, I will tell you this. I am a very clingy person. I'm very clingy. When I am with someone and when I am in love, I cling. I want to be around the person 24/7. I want to, give that person everything. And I have learned over the years how unhealthy that can be in the beginning. Because when you are so clingy in the beginning, you tend to not see red flags. You don't pay attention to things that's really important. You're not fully listening and engaging in conversations. And so, because your mind is already made up on where you want this to lead and where you want this to go. And so, the one thing that I have had to learn over the years is that, and that is the thing that that's why I like a friends with benefits. That's the thing that helps me out, is getting that, one consistent friends with benefits, so that when I get into the dating stage of getting ready to put myself out there and to, see if I'm going to be compatible with someone, it helps, because now it helps me not to be clingy, that I can actually sit down in the relationship and not rush it. Rushing a relationship, it shows that you're dependent. And now you have to ask yourself, why are you so dependent? Why are you so dependent on somebody else? Why do you feel that you have to have somebody else in order to get that happiness and joy? And so we just got to understand those things. And so I've had to learn over the years to control that clingy side and to only let it out when it's necessary. And, now I only let that clingy side out when I'm actually committed at that stage. But in the beginning, I've had to learn to chill the fuck out. It's like you're in the beginning. This person don't know you. We don't need to rush them to be texting us every hour on the hour. And if they're not texting us, we're breaking down. We don't need someone that, we got to reach out and see each other every single day. If it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. And so you got to learn how to control it, regardless of where this thing is stemming from, whether it's from neglect, whether it's from abuse, whether it's from abandonment, regardless of where this thing is stemming from, because being dependent, whether it's, even having parents in your life, but they were never around, whether it's attention seeking, all those things, we got to learn how to calm down in the beginning of a relationship and learn how to breathe. Because when unhealthy people meet healthy people, it's never a good mix. It's like, if you're going to go into a situation unhealthy, which is unhealed, at least fake the funk. You know what I'm saying? At least pretend. At least pretend until you finally get it right. But let's stop rushing rushing everything, that you got to rush into, making this person committed, that you got to rush into dating, and then you're rushing into committed. Chill out and really get to know the person. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you, Egun. Thank you, Spirit Guys. Thank you, Ancestors. Thank you, Sarah Bonda. Thank you, Risha. Thank you, Yeshua. Thank you, Ola Dumaray. Thank you, Ola Rune. Thank you, Ola Fi. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Ashe. But yeah, that's the one thing about me. I'm very, I'm very, very, very clingy. And, I've had to learn, one of the best things I think with clingy people is that it's very important for you not to put all of your eggs in one basket. It is better for clingy people to date multiple people. And dating multiple people, it doesn't mean that you're having sex with every last one of them. You can date multiple people, date 3 people, date 6 people at the same time, and then you're narrowing it down. These 2, I don't get along with. Now you're at 4, and then you're like, okay, well, these 2 I'm not vibing with no more. Now you're down to 2. It is really good for clingy people to not put all of their eggs in one basket, and to and to date multiple people, to narrow it down, that you're not clinging to that one person, and you're so clingy that you don't even see that this is not a good match for you, and that this is unhealthy for you. One of the things I do now in the beginning of talking to someone, and it's more to protect myself, I always try to enter in the conversation of letting the person know clear boundaries. That I always let the person know in the beginning, look, at the end of the day, we're both single. You still have every right to talk to as many people as you want. You can have sex with whoever you want. You can have sex with 1,000 people, and that's none of my business. You know what I'm saying? Is it exaggerated? Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's just to let you know, it's still none of your business. What someone do in the beginning of talking, that's on them. Now, if you choose to engage in sexual intercourse, then you engage in sexual intercourse. But just know, engaging in sexual intercourse in the beginning, it doesn't equate to commitment. It doesn't now wipe out the boundary that was set. It doesn't now, all of a sudden you had sex with the person. It doesn't wipe out the fact that you are still single, and both of you have the right to mess around with and talk to whoever else you want to. That is one thing that I like to add, that disclosure, because it reminds me as I'm speaking it, don't be clingy. I don't care how fine this person looks. I don't care, whether it's the features you like, the fetishes, or whatever else that is speaking. That regardless, is you got to learn how to calm yourself down and not rush. That is the one reason why I say that it reminds me every single time not to rush. Now, if things naturally get there, then it naturally gets there. But, it's a lot of things that I have set in place because I know how clingy I am. And it's trying to avoid that. 'Cause clingy people can be very unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? We can be very unhealthy. We send somebody a text message at 7:02 and we expect a reply before 7:03. And you like, the hell? You know what I'm saying? And it can bring a lot of pressure now to the other person, that it's a lot of anxiety for the other person. Now they like, oh my gosh, this person has, a lot of expectations. They have a lot of things for me. And you can overwhelm the person so much that even though they like you and even though they're into you, they will have a lot of behaviors now that is pushing you back. Whenever someone is pushing you back in the beginning, that means it's something that they're seeing. It's something that's a little bit too much. And as clingy people, we have to learn that in the beginning, we cannot be doing the most. Wrap that shit up and save it for commitment stage. That is when we can be doing that. That's when we do that. In commitment stage, by all means, you can cook for them, you can clean for them, you can support them in every way, but save that for commitment. Let it get to commitment stage first. Don't be giving them all the goodies in the beginning. But yeah, us clingy people, we gotta learn how to operate better in the world. Or we gonna always end up hurt. We're always gonna end up hurt because normally it's always the clingy people that's the givers, and people can take advantage of you. And so you have to learn how to add some wisdom in that. Stop being so damn clingy and stop being so damn demanding and forceful in the beginning. In the beginning, it should flow like water. If it's not flowing like water, now it's because you put all these big ass rocks where it can't flow properly. And all of those rocks is the representation of your demands, pressure, and everything else that we put in the beginning of a relationship. We need to learn how to just allow things to flow, live in the present moment, and enjoy ourselves. And implement things in your life that you are able to flow without the need of giving a lot of anxiety and pressure in the beginning of a relationship. That's it. That's all I got to say. And as I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to myself as well because I'm very clingy. Now, I'm not at that stage, but at the end of the day, it's just I'm clingy myself, so I'm like, trust me, I understand. But we have to learn how to live in the present moment and not the goddamn future. All right, thank you, Ego. Thank you, Spirit Guys. Thank you, Ancestors. Thank you, Savanda. Thank you, Risha. Thank you, Yeshua. Thank you, Ola Gumaray. Thank you, Ola Ron. Thank you, Ola Fee. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. All right, Ashe. All right, let's get into this reading. Let's see what Spirit has to say. I will bless thee, O Lord, with my whole heart. I will sing forth thy marvelous words. I will be glad and rejoice in thee. I will sing praises to thy name, O thou most high. I will bless thee, O Lord, with my whole heart. I will sing forth thy marvelous words. I will be glad and rejoice in thee. I will sing praises to thy name, O thou most high. O thou most high, thou most high, O thou most high, thou most high. I will bless thee, O Lord, with my whole heart. I will sing forth thy marvelous word. I will be glad and rejoice in thee. I will sing praises to thy name, O thou most high. I will bless thee, O Lord, with my whole heart. I will sing forth thy marvelous words. I will be glad and rejoice in thee. I will sing praises to thy name, O thou most high. I will sing praises to thy name, O thou most high. I will sing praises to thy name, O thou most high. I will sing praises to thy name, O thou most high. All right, we only waiting on the outcome position to see what the outcome position is going to be. Thinking of something. That fucked me up. That messed up my focus, man. Just I was just thinking in my head. I'm like, I'm. Oh man, I'm just thinking other shit in my head. It threw off my concentration. Made me throw the whole goddamn deck down. Goddamn. But I was just I was thinking in my head, it's like, what and I want you to answer in the comments as well. Leave a comment today. And remember guys, when you are watching the videos, make sure you hit that what is it called? The hype button. It makes the videos, go further. And so, make sure you hit the hype button in order to make the videos go further. But I was just thinking that one of the things about me, I'm a Gemini, and Gemini's, there's two sides to a Gemini, and you have my my primary side. My primary side is very serious. It's always about business, workaholic, just spirituality, being very committed and things to spirituality. But my other side is what you see in relationships. And it's when I'm just really feeling somebody and stuff like that, people tend to see a really goofy side of me. And that was the thing that I was laughing at, it that I was just like, it's funny, how I will be singing a gospel song and stuff like that, just to bring the spirits down and to rain them down, and then the next 5 minutes I'll be like, make that booty bounce, make that booty bounce. And that's the thing that I was thinking about. I'm like, if you know me, face to face, you will know that, when I'm around people I really love, and most people don't see that side. When I'm around people that I really love, like being around Elijah, being around the people that, I date and I'm really into, people notice that I'm just really just goofy. I'm just so fucking goofy, and it's funny. But that side comes out, when I'm really, feeling somebody, when I love someone, and so, if you never seen that goofy side, that means I just wasn't feeling you. I mean, that's just kind of easy and simple. That is, just like you have your, defense mechanisms, that your defense mechanisms will come up, whenever you feel that you're in a threatening situation, or, you feel, you're unsure, or you feel that someone is pushing you and stuff like that. Those defense mechanisms and stuff will pop up. Well, it's the same way when it's the opposite side as well. When you feel safe, when you feel secure, when you feel loved, when you feel appreciated, then you have the exact same thing, that there's a side of you that comes out. And that side for me is it's always a goofy side. It's always a playing side, a funny side. And so, that was the thing I was thinking about that just made me laugh. Because I'm like, boy, I'll be singing this song, and then the next thing I'll be like, make that booty jiggle, make that booty jiggle. Boy. If Elijah was up, Elijah would be like, yep, that's daddy. Always talking about a bubble butt. Oh man, that's my thing now. All right, let's see what this last card is. Let's see what this last card is, and we're gonna get into this. We're gonna get into this reading, and we're gonna get off the topics of bubble butt. So let's get off of bubble butts, y'all, and let's stay focused on the reading. I don't want nobody in their mind thinking about a bubble butt. Oh man, let's get into this goddamn reading. All right, come on, Spirit. What is this? What is this last card gonna be, Spirit? All right, let's see. Come on, Spirit. What is this last card gonna be? Come on. All right, we got the Page of Pentacles. The Judgment card is at the bottom of the deck. Judgment is at the bottom of the deck. Judgment is talking about an awakening. It talks about an awakening. It talks about a message trying to come in. It talks about, rising from the dead, rising from the ashes. So let's see what's in the reading, and then we'll come back to the card at the bottom of the deck, which is what you don't see coming. So we have an overall energy. There's with a shadow of a doubt, somebody is rushing in. Somebody is trying to rush in. You have it. We know this because of the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is saying that there's a motherfucker that's trying to rush in. The Knight of Swords is someone that's very strong and determined. This is someone that knows what it is that they want. When we look at the characteristics and the archetype of the different knights, there is a difference between the two. Between them, I will say that the strongest knight of speed, it would be the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is mental energy. The Knight of Swords is clarity. The Knight of Swords is, direction. This is someone saying, I know what it is that I want. I'm not going to pretend. I'm not confused. I'm very determined. I'm very strong. Nothing is going to stop me. Then you have the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is running in with an apology. It's emotional field. And so this is someone that is saying that, I really love you. I like the way you make me feel. It's all coming from an emotional space. And then you have the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is fire and passion. And so you kind of get the sense of some of the energy of the Knight of Cups, because we got to understand water and fire is very similar in a lot of ways, because both of them represent emotion. Fire is passion, and water as well is, your feelings and your emotions. And so both of them go into the same, box. Both your water signs and your fire signs can be extremely emotional. It's just sometimes fire can, actually, they both can be extreme. I was going to say fire can be a little bit more extreme, but nah. Water, boy, water will have you drowning. Fire will have you burning. And the one thing about the Knight of Wands, though, the Knight of Wands is very impulsive. It's like this motherfucker can pop up out of nowhere. It's like this motherfucker is a magician. It's like, boom, abracadabra, bitch, I'm here. And then you have the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest knight in the deck. Now, the Knight of Pentacles is the most stable, the most sturdiest out of all of the knights. Even though it's the slowest one, this is the one that is solid. This is the one that when this motherfucker come in, it's very strategic. It's very planned out. Because the Knight of Swords can rush in, but the Knight of Swords can rush in and be very strong and very direct. But at the end of the day, he doesn't have a plan like the Knight of Pentacles. And so the Knight of Swords is rushing in. This is somebody that is rushing in order to, come to you. And what it is that they want is the clarifier, which is the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands is all about celebration. It's about home life. This is a card of marriage. This is a card of somebody saying that they're ready to come home. This is someone that is ready to celebrate with you. This is someone that is ready to, come together. That they are like, hey, I'm here. I'm here for it. Let's go ahead and clarify it with the other deck, because You have someone here that is rushing in, and they see you as a place that they want to be. This is a place that somebody want to lay their head. And so there is a possibility for love here, because especially with the Knight of Swords, the energy that is leading this, the energy that is leading this energy. This is someone that's very strong and determined. Normally, when we're in energy like that, we don't take no for an answer. This is someone that will say that, hey, at the end of the day, baby, you are about to be mine. And, to clarify it even more, the Knight of Swords, now the clarifier is the King of Swords, which is another card of being very strong and determined. This is someone that, that knows what it is that they want. There is somebody with, and then you have it paired also with the Two of Wands. And notice how in both of these, let's start, putting some shit together. Let's be, Detective Gadget, and let's put some shit together to try to solve this puzzle. Look at how in both of these representation there is a lot of similarities in the overall energy in these two decks. First, we start off with Swords energy in both of these decks. The Knight of Swords is saying that this person is on the way, that they are on their horse, they are transitioning, they are moving, they are in movement to you. That things are happening, that this person is moving towards you. Now with the clarifier, it is in the same suit, it is the same energy, which means even when this person get off of this horse, they're still in the same mindset, that they are very strong and determined on what it is they want. Again, the King of Swords, it represents strength, determination, courage. This is someone that knows exactly what it is that they want. So this right here is telling a story of letting me know that even as they are in this transition, they have not lost focus. This is someone that has not lost focus, that by the time once they got on that horse, they knew exactly where they were coming. And in that time, they didn't say, wait a minute, am I doing too much? Should I really rush in? This is someone saying, no, I'm about to go there. I'm about to be there. I'm about to have this conversation with this person. And so this is someone that is rushing in. And even when they get off of their horse, they're still in the same energy. Their mind is still fixated on this thing. It's still fixated on this, where it's like, I'm coming towards this person. You have in both of the second card for each of these swords, you have the clarifier of the Four of Wands, and look how you have two pillars on this side, two pillars on that side. But then now with the King of Swords, you have the same thing, but now it's one on both sides. This is letting me know that number one, a portal is opening and it's staying open. This motherfucker, that this is a door that is opening and the motherfucking door is staying open. This is the energy of Elegua, of a door being open, or Sarabanda, a door being open. And so this is a door that is opening, that this person is about to walk through. This person is about to walk through this door. And I'm going to tell you another thing that that Spirit just told me. Spirit was saying, with these two cards, together, this is someone that could have seen you in some type of vision. With the two being here and the two being there, someone could have had a vision of them holding hands with you, sleeping with you, being with you. That this is someone that had some type of vision, that they seen you as clear as day, and they were like, this is the person I want to be with. This is the person that's going to give me my happiness. This is the person that is, my soulmate, my twin flame, and my divine counterpart. That, this card is representing the vision that this person received. And then the card that is attached to the King of Swords, this is the person themselves that is watching this vision. They are watching this vision. And so this is showing the person watching the vision, and this is showing the vision itself. And so this is someone that is very determined on coming to you, that this is someone that sees you. This is someone that, right now is not indicating the past. This is someone that sees you, whether it's through social media, whether it is through, a friend of a friend, whether it's through work. This is someone that sees you. And by seeing you, it is giving them visions of who you are, what they want from you, that their passion is being leaked within that vision. And so this is someone that knows that they want to come near, and the determination. That's the one thing that I like about here, is that this is not passion. This is determination. Passion is the heart. Those are going to be your fire cards, and those are going to be your water cards. This is determination, where this is air. Air is the ruler of the mind. Air is the ruler of logic. And so this is someone that's not coming in with emotion. This is someone that is coming in with logic, that their mind is made up. Their mind is saying, look, this is where I'm going to go. This is what I'm going to do. This is someone that is very, they're heading in that lane towards you. This is someone that's very strong, very determined to get to you. And it's all about the head. This is a head over heart decision. This is not an emotional decision. The King of Swords, when the King of Swords is here, this is a head over heart decision. And so, because the heart is not always in alignment. The heart can be saying, I love you, but the heart can also be saying, I'm fearful of you. The heart can be saying, I love you, and the heart can be saying, you're too pretty to be faithful to me. And so this is someone that, regardless of what the heart is speaking, they are saying that I'm making a head over heart decision, that this is my mind that's making the decision, and I'm not going to allow my heart to, rule what it is that I'm getting ready to do. You have in the crossing energy. The crossing energy is always the second position. It's to the right. And the crossing position is going to tell us whether it's going to block the overall energy or whether it's influencing the overall energy. Now, whenever the crossing energy, it blocks the overall energy, number one, is already telling you that you have blockages within this connection. When it influences the overall energy, it's letting you know that there's flow in this department. And so you have in the crossing energy, we have the Emperor. The Emperor is all about sitting on their throne. The Emperor is even a stronger energy than the King of Swords, that this is someone that now has understanding. The Emperor, it represents realization. And the Emperor also represents structure, stability, because the Emperor is the combination of all four of the kings. And then you have, as the clarifier, you have the Hierophant. The Hierophant, to me, is the card of God within my decks. Is that I see the Hierophant as God. But the Hierophant is traditions. The Hierophant is society. The Hierophant is, the norms. And so with the Emperor, with the Hierophant as the clarifier, this is letting me know that this is someone that's going to sit on their throne, which means they're sitting in their power. This is someone that's definitely very confident. And, the Emperor card, it represents Aries. And Aries is a really strong energy for the start of something. Aries is really good at the start of a project, at the beginning of something. And so Aries is, it's letting me know, not necessarily saying that this is an Aries. I only bring that up to say that this is someone that's going to bring a lot of strong energy in the beginning of this connection. This is someone that is going to blast through the doors and say, I'm here. This is someone that's not going to come with a soft approach. This is someone that's going to come with a very strong approach, because both of these energies, this is really strong masculine energy, with the Emperor being here as well as the King of Swords. This is, it's very strong energy. This is not an energy of someone that will bow down. This is not an energy of someone that will be afraid. This is an energy of somebody saying, you know what? I'm finna go in, I'm finna say what I have to say, and if you don't like it, whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo, bitch, if you don't like it. This is someone that's gonna state whatever it is that they have to say. Whether it's going to be an argument that's going to pop off or anything, this person is going to say whatever it is that is on their mind. And if you don't like it, whoop-de-doo. What you gonna do to me? Whoop-de-doo. That is the energy that you get from this. This is someone. This is someone that said that, look, baby, you ain't finna hold me back. You ain't finna hold me back. You ain't finna scare me anymore. And I'm shuffling the cards the wrong direction. What is the clarifier? What is the clarifier for the Emperor? And the Hierophant is saying that this is being directed by God. This is being directed by God. When you look at the Hierophant card, you have the Hierophant that is sitting on the throne and looking over two people that's bald headed. And those two people, to me, is saying that this is spirit, guiding the both of you, not just one. This is spirit that is guiding the both of you. And, spirit is, this person is on the throne because spirit is on the throne. This is someone that could be connecting to their divine masculine energy. This is someone that is finally connected to their divine masculine energy, because, this person right now, they are synced with source. This is someone that's going to come in with very strong divine masculine energy. And remember, energy has nothing to do with, gender, male or female. But when you look at this is a mimicking and a copying energy. You have the Emperor on this throne, you have the Hierophant on this throne, and this is just letting me know that this is someone that is coming in with very strong spiritual energy. This is someone that could finally have gotten it. You know what I'm saying? That they finally understand the spiritual side of things. That the Emperor is realization. This is someone that is realizing something, and this person is getting their messages from God. This is someone that is synced. You could notice that this person could be a churchgoer. This person could be very strong in their practice, in their spiritual practice. But this person is sitting in their power. This person is on their throne, and they're saying, baby, it is what it is. That's me. I'm that guy. That's what this person is. That's the energy that I get. This could be someone that's a little cocky. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the energy that I get as well. This is someone that could be a little cocky, and definitely filled with confidence. Because that's exactly what I get from this energy. Man, if I drop one more damn card. If I drop one more goddamn card. Alright, come on, Spirit. We got the Five of Wands. We got the Five of Wands with the Five of Pentacles. This person, and now we got 3 fives on the board, because we got the Five of Swords. We got the Five of Swords too in the next position. And so we have, as the clarifier for the other deck, for the crossing energy, we have the Five of Wands with the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Wands is all about fights, conflicts, and the Five of Pentacles is all about the absolute loss of everything. It could represent poverty. It could represent insecurities. It can represent being left out in the cold. And so when we look at this combination, this is someone that has, that has fought through some stuff. This is someone that, getting on this throne and being put in this position wasn't easy for this person. This is someone that has went through some stuff. This is someone that could have possibly been through a season of homelessness, whether it was full homelessness of living on the streets, whether it was them for a period of time living in their car, or, whether it was them, jumping from home to home, staying with friends and family members and stuff like that. But this person has been through some stuff. This is someone that has, fought through the poverty, that fought through the lack, that has fought through the loss. Because this is someone that has experienced some loss. But this is someone that has fought through that. And this is why this person is sitting on the throne. But this is not someone that, just got there just by getting there. This is someone that definitely been through some stuff, and they fought to get into the position that they are in now. You have in the crowning energy, we have the Magician, and we have the Five of Swords, which talks about fight and conflict. Let's clarify this, because the Magician can represent magic, because depending on what the clarifier is the advice that I'm going to give. And then you have as the clarifier, you have the Page of Cups. This is someone that could have manipulated themselves in this person's life, and it's in the crowning position, and the crowning position, just so you know, is also the present energy. And so the Magician is about willpower and staying in your power and things like that when it's on the positive side. But what I'm getting from this, especially with the Five of Swords attached to it and the Page of Cups, which is an offer, and then I gotta put my thing on the charger. All right, y'all, I'm back. Where was I at? Like, y'all can respond back. I was on the crowning energy. The crowning energy is the present energy. So we have the Magician here, and the Magician can represent manipulation. It can represent magic, which magic is manipulation. Magic is the manipulation of energy, and you have it paired with the Five of Swords, which talks about, conflict. Somebody could have used magic doing a ritual or spell, or just simply plain practical energy of manipulation. That they could have used a lot of manipulation in order to get in between this connection, and it caused a lot of fights and arguments. And the fights and arguments gave this other person an opportunity to give their cup of love. That, someone else came in with a cup of love because y'all was too busy fighting and arguing. But this cup of love, the card at the bottom of the deck, is the Ten of Swords right now. This cup of love has turned into the Ten of Swords, that this person feel betrayed. This person, no, it's funny. You betrayed this person by getting with this person that gave you the cup of love, and now all of a sudden, now this person is feeling betrayed. And then right under that, you have the Knight of Wands, where now this person is rushing in. But yeah, this person, there was some manipulation here. There was definitely some manipulation here where it created arguments within a relationship. And, you had somebody that jumped ship, which I would say would be the Divine Masculine. The Divine Masculine jumped ship and accepted a cup somewhere else. And now the very cup that he has accepted has turned into the Ten of Swords, which is a betrayal. Gotta be more careful. Gots to be more careful. You have in the outcome position, you have the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest knight in the deck, but it is the most sturdiest and the most stable knight out of all of the knights. and you have it paired with the Page of Pentacles. And the Page of Pentacles is about a contract. The outcome position is saying that, look, this person is going to come and they're going to offer you something solid. This is a solid offer. This is a very solid offer that's going to end up coming in for you. And so this is someone that's going to give you this is someone that's going to end up giving you a gift. This person is going to end up giving you a contract. And the contract is going to end up saying, like, hey, let's jump into this thing. Let's see what someone is going to give you a solid offer. Yeah, you have the Eight of Cups here as the clarifier, and the Eight of Cups is all about walking away. It's withdrawing from a situation. And so this is someone that's gonna, withdraw from the situation, and they're going to end up, coming to you, giving you a cup, giving you a gift. And now we have the card at the bottom of the deck. We have the Judgment card. And the Judgment card is all about, look, you need to open your eyes and see what's getting ready to happen. You should be getting downloads with the Judgment card being here, that you should know that this person is en route. Let's do some the Oracle cards. We're starting off with the oracles. We got fake smiles and we got drama starter. So this is someone that could be going through some stuff, that they got a lot of people that is, smiling in their face, but starting a lot of drama behind their back. This is someone that is around a group that is not serving their highest good. This person is around somebody that is not serving their highest good. It's nothing but fake smiles. They could be around a group of people that they don't trust, or that they shouldn't be trusting. They can't trust. You have looking you up. This person is spying on you. This person is looking at you, baby. They said, what the fuck you doing? Where the fuck you at? Baby, let me slide through. I want to get that. This is someone that's looking you up. Hey, baby, they said they know who you are. This is someone that want to get up in that. Let's see what that crowning energy is going to be. Baby, where you at? Where you at? Where you at? All right, we got in the crowning, we got an obsessed lover, but a broke ass. Somebody ain't got no money, but they. So you got an obsessed lover and broke ass. Somebody ain't got no money, but they are obsessing over you. That could be a delay. That could be a delay, because if this person is staying at a distance from you, because the Eight of Cups over here, it do represents travel. So if someone is staying at a distance from you, they're obsessed, but this could be someone that don't have a way to get to you, because this person ain't got no money. And then in the same spot, you got travel. This is someone that's going to travel to you in the same spot, because that's what I was looking at when I said that the outcome position has the Eight of Cups as well. And now in here we have travel, and almost everything in here is travel, because the Knight of Pentacles is a travel card. It's in transition, but the Knight of Pentacles is wanting to travel but haven't moved yet, because the Knight of Pentacles is a horse that is still. And so, but you have the Eight of Cups, which is travel. You have the travel card and the Oracle card, and then you have the Page of Pentacles, which is actually coming and giving a gift. And so, this is someone that's going to come through. You have screenshots. Someone has some type of screenshots. Somebody have. This could be screenshots of someone watching you. There's going to be screenshots of proving that someone is not over you. And you do have now the card at the bottom of the deck, which is, the Judgment card, which is the card of awakening. It's a card of, let me get your attention and screenshot. For some of you, there could be a screenshot that is coming your way. Somebody is going to prove something to you or show something to you. That this could be someone saying that, look, you think that so-and-so is not over you, but look at this. You know what I'm saying? Because, there could be something that is coming your way to prove, that there is still a chance or opportunity with somebody. And so, do I want to get into the hidden emotions? No, I'm gonna leave it here. I'm gonna leave it. This was good. I'm gonna leave it here. Because it's gonna turn around and do another reading anyways. I need to do another video of just going over basic stuff. It'll be short, but I need to, remind people to. I need to remind you to make sure that you go to my TikTok. I got 2 TikTok page. I'm talking about my spiritual one, Rashad King 2017, because I'm going to start doing live readings. And so I need people to go over to TikTok, because once I start it, that's how you can, participate. And I'm choosing TikTok because you can allow people to come on and actually, do the reading, and then I can get them off and go to the next person. And I think I'm probably going to end up starting doing that on Sundays. I don't know. It might not be this Sunday, but I'm going to start it on Sundays, where Sundays I'll probably get on for an hour or two and just do free readings back to back, do like a 2-card spread. And so if you're, going to be interested in that, make sure you go to my TikTok page, and that's Rashad King 2017. Make sure you go to the right one, because there's a couple of people that took my pictures and videos, and it's very similar. They might do Rashad King something else, or spell the name different, but make sure it's Rashad King 2017. And that's about it. Everything else I'll put in a different video.